This is Tom Duty, middle-aged American living in New Jersey near the Lincoln Tunnel. If you were to visit my website, you would type Howdy Doody into Google. You'll find the correct spelling of the famous puppet. You then combine Tom Duty in a Google search for my site, obituary, published in the Post, Pittsburgh Gazette. Madison High School has produced 14 NFL players, tying the Keeksport for the most of any school in WPIAL history. More than half of Madison pro players were under Joe Gladys. As coaches go, Mr. Gladys was no average Joe. He was a highly successful coach at Madison from 1960 to 82, when Madison was a much larger school and used to play with the big schools in the largest classification in WPIAL. Mr. Gladys, who won Madison's last WPIAL title in 1961, died Thursday in Monongahela Valley Hospital. He was 85. When I look back at things, he was a kind of cutting-edge coach offensively back in the day. And Andy Pakar, who played the season for Mr. Gladys and who was Madison's coach for the past 11 seasons. In the 1960s and 70s, it way payday at Madison. They always had players. They always had players going to major colleges. Mr. Gladys coached 8 players who went on to play at the NFL. 2 of them played on opposing teams in the 1973 Super Bowl. Lineman Doug Cruson and Miami Dolphins receiver Bill Malachek with the Washington Redskins. Mr. Gladys graduated from Madison in 1947. He attended Fairmont State College in West Virginia. He also served in the Korean War. He became coach of his alma mater 13 years after graduation, and he was in his second season. He won the WPIAL title with the 7-6 victory against Wilkinsburg in front of nearly 20,000 fans at Forbes Field. Mr. Gladys had a record of 153, 64, and 9 at Madison, and his teams were undefeated in regular season in 1961, 1975, and 1977. Probably his greatest asset was his demeanor. Mr. Pakic said he always had a gentle tone, even if it was corrective action. It was his personality. He was not the in-your-face coach. Whether you talk to him in school or on the football field or 30 years later at a banquet, he always had the same demeanor. Mr. Gladys was a member of several Hall of Fames, including the Mid-Mon Valley and Pennsylvania Scholastic Football Coaches Association. Mr. Gladys was preceded in death by his wife, Alice. He is survived by 2 brothers, John and Edward Gladys, and of Madison, 7 children and 8 grandchildren. The children are James of Pittsburgh, Eugene of Fairfax, Virginia, Michael and Alexander, Virginia, Marianne Nelson of Napa, California, Joseph of Madison, Monica Moore of London, and John Annandale of Virginia. There'll be no public visitation, and the family will have a private funeral. Story by Mike White of the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette. This has been Tom Duty, middle-aged American living in New Jersey near the Lincoln Tunnel. If you were to visit my website, you would type Howdy Doody into Google. You'll find the correct spelling of the famous puppet. You then combine Tom Duty in a Google search for my site. Thank you for listening. Have a good day, good evening, or restful night's sleep.